So, my name's Dan. I do Wi-Fi. My official title is Principal Wireless Engineer, Principal Wireless Architect, whatever. But I'm Dan, the Wi-Fi guy. I have a very specific set of skills, and that is only Wi-Fi. So this conference has been great. I'm sure you've all learned loads. For me, I've just been like, straight over my head. Love it. OK, so if you want to get in touch with me on Twitter, I'm UK Dan Jones, and my blog is #wifi.com. I'm kind of generalist Wi-Fi for everything, but within the industry, I'm kind of the Apple Wi-Fi guy, right? So I think that's more of a self-professed title than anything else, if I'm honest. So I want to talk to you today about the tools that I use for troubleshooting Wi-Fi. Now, I have some super expensive tools, right, that I use, but I thought it's probably not worth me kind of showing you those because they're not necessarily going to be the types of things that you're going to be able to use and get any kind of, I don't know, use out of, right, because you're not just going to go and drop 10 grand on a spectrum analyzer. So what I thought is I'll get some cheap stuff that I can show you, and hopefully you'll get some benefit of it. If you don't get benefit from it, then maybe you can take this recording and pass it on to someone in your business that would get some benefit from it, right? But the idea is that these should be kind of very high-level things that you can very quickly kind of see what's going on and how you can kind of make a difference, right? So these are the tools. I know I said 3. I've put 3 on one of those, right? So it's actually 5. But yeah, let's get into it. So who here has heard of Wi-Fi Explorer Pro or Wi-Fi Explorer? Yeah, a few hands. Nice. OK, so actually, if you subscribe to SetApp, you can actually get Wi-Fi Explorer. It's in as one of their kind of apps that they have as part of their thing. Wi-Fi Explorer Pro allows you to do a few extra things, like you can export some stuff, we can plug in a spectrum analyzer, you can filter some things and stuff like that. But this is a really, really cool app, and I'm going to do the thing you should never do, which is a live demo, right? So here, this is Wi-Fi Explorer Pro. This is how it works. You have all this stuff here. You're probably looking at that again. What? So what you have here, this is the SSID, and then these are all of the APs that are broadcasting that SSID, right? And the way that this works is that it takes the beacons, right? So Wi-Fi works by sending out this beacon saying, I'm this AP, I've got this SSID, I do this, I do this, I do this, right? So we can collect all that stuff, and we can kind of see in this room right now from my laptop here on this lectern exactly what's going on in this space. And as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. Yeah? It's a bit of a mess. So we can do some things to kind of tidy this up, right? So again, I'm looking at troubleshooting this SSID. I've had someone who said there's a particular problem with this SSID, so I can right-click this, I can apply that as a filter, and straight away we've gotten rid of some of the noise, right? So I'm looking now at what I've got. Okay, so I'm going to kind of walk you through this, right? So we've got the device name. Now this is quite useful. So if you've got APs and you've named your APs, it's quite useful to be able to see, all right, there's a sticker on that AP and its name is blah, 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 AP2, AP4, whatever. That will correlate to that column there, right? So it's really nice because you can see kind of what's going on. This channel utilization column that you have, this one here, I don't know if you can see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, nice, good. Right, I'm going to get rid of 2.4 because you shouldn't be broadcasting on 2.4 and 5. If you watched my talk last year, you'd know that. Hilton obviously didn't. So we'll get rid of 2.4 because who uses 2.4? So now we're just looking at the 5 gigahertz, right? And it's starting to look a little less messy. But what we can see here on this channel utilization, this is the AP reporting to your clients. This is how busy I am. All right, so you can see we've got some that are 1% busy, 5, 12% busy. We've got a few here, 46% busy, 44. So this is without having a spectrum analyzer, without having to actually see the energy on the air. I can see how busy these APs are, right? Now, as a lay person, do you think it's good for us to have some APs that are really busy and other APs that are doing jack all? No, right? That's probably an indication that there's a bad design, right? So straight away, coming in, opening this tool up, you can see, right, I can see which ones of my APs are busy all the time. And it's got nothing to do with how many clients are connected to it. I could have an AP that's got 2 clients connected to it, but they're both absolutely hammering it, right? I could have other APs that are sat there with 50 clients on and they're not doing anything. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. But this helps you to see that, right? Without having to open a controller, without having to do any of this kind of stuff, I can come in, use this software, and see exactly how my Wi-Fi is set up, right? So I've got signal strength here. At the moment, I'm kind of organizing by signal strength. I can see the band they're in. I can see the channel. So again, right, let's have a quick look at the channels, right? If I organize by highest channel first, 1, 2, 3, 4 APs, all on that same channel. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing, right? So straight away, we can come in and start saying, okay, well, what's going on here, you know? I've got these 2 channels here. I've got these 5 channels here not being used at all. And yet I've got 4 APs on one channel, okay? So either the controller's RRM, radio resource management, isn't choosing those channels properly, or someone's designed it wrong, or they've not turned it on right. But at least we can see this, right? We can see them huddled up. We can also see that we've got a 40 megahertz wide channel, okay? That's great, that's fine. If you've only got 12 APs, there's 25 channels. If you've only got 12 APs, go for 40 megahertz wide channels. Fill your boots, love it. Not a problem. If you've got lots of channels that are using the same overlapping channels, again, my talk last year, just go to 20 megahertz wide channels, because you'll have a much better time of it, right? And you can visualize that here. It's easy for you to see it's set up and it's set up wrong, right? So straight away, you can come in, troubleshoot, and go, right, okay, I know there's a few things that we can change there and make this Wi-Fi better. Another thing is the amendments. Now, I said to you about the you being able to see. Again, you probably have to reference the old kind of video, right, from last year about K, V, and R. So K is your Kneiber reports, because it's K, but it needs to be an N, so Kneiber reports. And that tells, this AP will be telling your device and the other APs, these are the other APs that are in this area. Now, in this area, I can see quite a few APs from one device. These APs are way too loud. They need to get turned down. Right? I'm seeing too many of them. Next thing we can see is this MBR, minimum basic rate. I know this is high-level stuff, but these are things that I pointed out last year, these kind of minimum things, right? Don't have a minimum basic rate of 6. Have 24, because now your slowest speed is 4 times faster. Right? So we want to get people on and off the air as quick as possible. Just turn that up. Turn it up to 24. Everything will go faster. Everything will work faster. And if something can't talk that fast, get off my network, because you're slowing me down. All right? Cool. So then we can see things like, okay, it's Wi-Fi 5. Sometimes the AP will actually report what transmit power it's using. So again, if you see anything over 10, it's probably too loud. These APs aren't even telling us that. Cheers, Cisco. And then we can see the security and stuff, right? So those are some really high-level things. I think the biggest one is actually this utilization, right? So we can see how utilized those APs are straight away. And then you can come across and you can see, right, okay, this STAs column here, this is stations. So you can see we've got some APs that have basically got 80% of the clients in this room are on 3 APs, not spread out across all the other APs we can hear, right? Bad design. Okay, and so you can go back to your infrastructure team and go, yeah, users are complaining about Wi-Fi, and this is why, right? Go and do these things. Go and watch this video and get it sorted. Right, so we've got 2.45. I do want to have a quick conversation about 6 gigahertz. Has anyone got an M2 Mac? Yeah, a couple? Yeah, I love it. So we get 6 gigahertz now with the M2 Mac. So lonely. Look at how much free spectrum we've got. Go and get 6 gigahertz APs, because basically at the moment, there's no one else using it. We should be there using it, right? You can see there's a little bit of interference. So this is actually a spectrum analyzer, this one here. This little thing, I don't know if you can see it. It's not very... That one, spectrum analyzer. And this bit of software will actually let you see non-Wi-Fi, right? So that stuff there that you can see, these little spikes, that isn't Wi-Fi. That's just background kind of interference. And so if you have one of these things, in each of those bands, you can go and see, oh yeah, at lunchtime, everyone gets kicked off the Wi-Fi. It's because someone's turned the microwave on and it's destroyed 2.4, and for some reason, you still have a dual band SSID with 2.4 and 5, and it kicks everyone off. Cool. So that is Wi-Fi Explorer Pro. Wi-Fi signal and the WlanPi I'm going to talk to you about a little bit later. No, I'm going to talk to you about the WlanPi now. This is the WlanPi. So if you don't have an M2, this little tool here is basically a Raspberry Pi with some Wi-Fi software installed on it, right? What I love about this little thing is that for £30, you can plug this in, and now you can scan the 6 gigahertz. So this is what this does. You obviously have to have a Raspberry Pi as well. And then you can actually use this as a remote sensor in this software. So why would you want to do that, right? So you can see here, manage remote sensors. Why would you want to do that? Say you've got a big campus, lots of places to look after, and you're a bit lazy like me, can't really be bothered to walk around. You could just go and place a bunch of these all over your network, plug it in through the Ethernet port, give it some power, stick one of these USBs in there, give it an IP address, put it into this software, so you can put all your sensors in there, and then from the beauty of your own desk, the comfort of your own desk, you can go and remote into these sensors all over the network, and you can do those scans without having to get up. Result. It's a beauty. Cool. So let me just check that I've done. Oh, and the other thing that's really useful about this has something called a client profiler. So when you join a network, right, the AP will say to you, this is what I can do. I've got 4 spatial streams. I can do MCS11. I can, all these kind of technical Wi-Fi things. These are the channels that I support. And then your client device replies back going, oh, great, I can do, and it gives a list of all the things that it's capable of, right? That's really useful information to know. For instance, Apple devices in the UK won't use channel 144. Okay, the only way that you'll know that is if you read the tech specs, or if you packet capture that association packet, right, where it says I don't do channel 144. So this thing will actually show you that. So there are a bunch of clients. If we look at the 5 gigahertz, there are a bunch of clients that won't use that top end white ones. So the 149 up to 165. There's a bunch of clients that won't do that. So for instance, my friend Andy there had a Sonos, and he had gone, I'm going to be really smart, and I'm going to use my non-DFS channels at the top here. Unfortunately, his Sonos didn't support those channels. And he would have known that if he'd used the WlanPi. Cool. So that's the Wi-Fi Explorer Pro, I haven't shown you Wi-Fi signal, and the WlanPi, right? Great bit of software. Like I said, on SetApp, you can have it as part of that. It is on the Mac App Store. And, yeah, if you use code MACAD20, you can actually get 20% off of that. I know Adrian, he's a great guy, and he kind of said, if you're speaking about the thing, it'd be great if you offered people a discount code. So there you go, discount code. Okay, my next bit of software that I use, Ben, are you here? Where are you? There he is. Right, stand up, Ben. Wave your arms. So this guy makes nOversight, right? So after this, you're going to have a bunch of questions. You're all just going to herd him and get him to tell you all about it. So nOversight is awesome because what it does is it gives us insight into our end devices, right? So I use this for iPhone. And what I can do is I can walk around with the iPhone, and we can collect all the logs from the iPhone and then dump it out into these graphs, right? So if I show you kind of what's going on here, right? This is the kind of capture. You may have seen me walking around at lunch. This is what I was doing. So you can see here, what you've got is you've got all the different APs I want to like shine a light on it or something. Here, can you see this bit? These are the APs, these are the BSSIDs, these are the channel numbers. And again, what you'll notice is channel 124, channel 124, channel 116, channel 116. There's a lot of reuse here, right, which we don't want. But what you can see is you can see the journey that iPhone has made. So you can see it was on this AP, it then moved to this one, it went to that one, it roamed to this one, it then lost signal for a while, then it came down here, then it was here, then it was here. And what you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the screen up there, but there's like a hashed chunk, right, of that bar. That hash chunk is saying the iPhone is trying to find a better AP. It's searching, it's roaming, it's trying to roam, and it can't find anything, right? So this is a great way of being able to walk around your site and go, right, what is the actual client experience? Does it roam quickly? Does it move from one AP to another AP really nicely? Or does it get stuck to an AP in a corridor that's turned up to 11 and it won't ever leave it, right? This is how you can troubleshoot that. This is how you can troubleshoot it. And then what you get is in these kind of sessions, it will tell you why it's roamed, right? So has it roamed because there was too much congestion? Has it roamed because the RSSI dropped off? All these types of things, so you can see that. I'm just going to play. So this was me. This is how I use this app, right? So you can see in the bottom left, I've got a video of me walking around. The reason for that is, one, so I can see where I was if I had a problem. Two, I'm sending data from the phone. So if I'm sending data, the roaming algorithm is different, right, than if I'm just stood still and I'm not using any data. So you can see live what's happening is you can see when it roams and you can see what's happening. You can see the signal strength, the RSSI, and then where you see where it says perf, and then you've got quality, and then CCA. CCA means clear channel assessment, right? So it's looking at how busy is the channel at the moment. So again, you can see, okay, the red means that it's other stuff, right? The amber is other devices are using Wi-Fi, so I can't talk. And then if it's green, it's I'm causing this data, okay? And you can see that jumps up and jumps around as you're moving. And then in the bottom right-hand side, this is where Wi-Fi signal comes in. This is how my Mac is doing things, right? So I can see live on top of how my iPhone is doing it, how my Mac is doing it, and I can contrast and compare. So, as I said last year, your Macs will roam differently from your iPhones. This is a great way to be able to test that, benchmark that. If you've got users that are complaining about, I moved into that meeting room and I had a really crap experience, load this up. Have a look at how the devices are roaming. The other nice thing about this, and I'll try and show you this now live, you can actually, if you've had a user who said, I just had a terrible Teams call, okay, well, what you can do is you can get the logs from that device, you can plug it in, and then I can scan the thing, and there you go. I can download the logs live off that phone, and then I can chart them out in this software. Okay, so it's amazing. So if you've had a problem, you can download it, chuck it in there, get all that stuff going, and then you can analyze it. And actually, Ben very kindly gave me a beta version of this software. You can now do all of this for macOS as well. So you can roam around with macOS, you can chart it all out, you can import sys logs from other Macs. So if you've got a user who comes into your office and goes, had a terrible Zoom call 10 minutes ago, great, grab me your laptop, I'm going to grab the sys logs off of it, I'm going to import it into my special software, and now I can have a look at exactly what happened. Yeah, you were 3 APs away when you were sat in that meeting room. We need to turn that AP down. Yeah, so it's nice, quality stuff. Cool. I won't go into that right now. Let's go back to... So, that's nOversight. There's literally each of these bits of software. I could probably do like a 3-day deep dive into every single one of these software. So it's like very, very high level. I'm just trying to give you things where it's like, you must be hearing this stuff all the time, right? Oh, yeah, had this poor experience, did this, did that. And you kind of go, okay, well, let us know if it happens again, right? Whereas now, hopefully, you've got some tools where you can go, okay, well, let's go and try and have a look. And again, Ben's been very kind. And for May, if you wanted to get 20% off and you wanted to get that software, use that code when you buy it, and then you can do that. Okay, right. 8 minutes left. Hamina. So, you've done some troubleshooting. You know that there's a problem. You know you've got to reduce some AP powers. You know you've got to move some APs. Where do you move them? How do you plan that out? How do you do that, right? Well, I use this software to design Wi-Fi networks. And it's amazing. It's completely web-based. This is it. It's completely web-based. And you take a floor plan. You can put your APs on where they're on at the moment. You can kind of see, if I click on an AP, this is how this AP works, right? This is the reach that this AP has got. And I can see what's going on. And again, I can pick, if I wanted to see what's the coverage like in this area alone and how much of it spills out into other areas, you can see that really nice and easy there. Right, so at the moment, we've got, hope Cisco aren't watching this. At the moment, we've got Cisco 9164s, right? Great AP, really good AP. But actually, I want Juniper APs. So I'm going to chuck in, I'm going to do rip and replace. I want to see what my Wi-Fi is going to be like with a Juniper AP instead. Right, because we're upgrading to Wi-Fi 6E, so I want to see how that works. Now, what's cool is this program will literally go through and it will do all the channels for you, right? It will find the most optimal channel plan. So again, if you've got a space where you've got 40 megahertz wide channels at the moment, you want to see what it's like if you put those down to 20 megahertz wide and what channels they should be on. You can kind of predict that in this software. So I've done that now. I've changed these APs. What I really like about this software that nothing else will do is we have this, the roaming woman. And she's amazing. So what we can choose is, okay, well, what device am I looking at? I said to you before about how you have to design for your iPhone, you have to design for your Mac. You can design for both, but you have to take both into consideration, right? So I'm going to pretend that I am coming out of the lift here. Hello. Right, so I can see which AP it thinks I will associate to. Right? I can see that it thinks I'll be on that one, and I'll have a data rate of about 287 megabits per second, right? Amazing. What you can also see is that I've also got a dotted line here going through to this AP. So if I take you out of 3D mode, you can see this dotted line here to this AP. Right, so that's showing me now that, okay, if this blue one is too busy, there's too much going on that utilization that we saw in Wi-Fi Explorer Pro. If that's too busy, don't worry, there's a second AP that it can go to instead. That's still good enough, okay? And then as I walk through this door, yeah, you can see how I roam, and I roam. It's lovely, having a great time. I walk around the corner, I roam again, walk through the door, I roam. You can test, you can see how your network is going to work, okay? And that's great, that's an iPhone, but actually I want to see how my MacBook's going to do it, and it is a Wi-Fi 6E MacBook, right? So I want to see how now I can start using 6 gigahertz. And what you'll notice is on the AP, it's using my 6 gigahertz radio. You'll notice now my data rate has gone up to 449, but that's not good enough. So let's turn it up. I'm going to make my channel widths wider. Okay, so I'm going to make 80 megahertz wide channels and 6 gigahertz because we've only got a few clients, and I want them to be super quick. So now I'm getting 961 megabits per second. Boom. Yeah, love it. Right, and as I walk around, I can see how that's going to perform. Now you'll notice my MacBook is staying connected to that AP for longer than the iPhone was, right? Because it's got a different algorithm. So they are taking into consideration the algorithm in this design package, okay? Yeah, and it's awesome. Oh, look, that AP has turned up too loud. Yeah, let's sort that out straight away. That's going to be a nightmare, right? And you can see why. Yeah, you can see that AP is firing out too loud. Great, I can come in and I can go, okay, You have to be much quieter than that. And then I can go back and do my roaming again, connect to that one, but as I step through that door, oh, that's upsetting, isn't it? Damn it. 6 gigahertz, that's why. Well played. All right, let's turn both of them down. Nice. Good catch. All right, there we go. So we come across. We're not even connected to that one now. We come down, and now we roam. Perfect. That was how the demo should have gone first time around. Great. So that's Hermina. And you're kind of looking at me going, OK, that's great. This is super cheap. It's £300, OK, to use. Super cheap. Like, there are other design softwares available. They cost 10, 20 times more than that. But that's not all, right? In this software, you can also do things like you can look at your capacity, okay? So you can start to go, right, okay, well, in this area, I know that I can have up to 250 people. And what it will do is it will try to simulate how many of those devices will go to which AP. So again, you can look at your design, you can look at how you've got something built out, and you can go, right, this is going to work, this isn't going to work, this is why we need to change what we've currently got, right? And you can go across here and you can see, what clients you've got on each radio, things like that, okay? And then what you can say is, right, okay, well, at the moment, we've got that as our thing. Capacity. Let me just click on capacity. So we've got these many devices at the moment, right? But we know that we're about to do an update, and we're about to replace all of our old Intel Macs with M2 Macs that are 6 gigahertz capable. So we're going to go from 10% of clients that are capable of 6 gigahertz, and we're going to go up to 75% of our clients are capable of 6 gigahertz. And now you can see the distribution has changed, taken things out of the 5 gigahertz, moved them into the 6 gigahertz. You can plan how things are going to work. Okay. One last thing for me to show you that's really nice about this software is that you can also see your actual network infrastructure, right? I've kind of gone a bit overboard there, right? But these are all the things that are plugged into the network switch that are using PoE power. So I can click on my stack, and I can see, right, okay, I've got enough ports. I'm only using 70 of my 96 ports, but my PoE budget is well over. Okay, so I'm going to have to add another switch. And now I know that everything's going to get powered and work really well. Awesome. And you also get bombs and all the rest of it, right? So I can click on a bomb. I can see everything that I need. And there it is. Right. And so these guys, they're a brand new company. They have never given a discount. Boom. Wi-Fi man Dan. 25% off. But it's today and tomorrow only, because they do not like giving discounts. Yeah, so if you use that code on their website, hermina.com, you can get that off as well. I think that's everything. Yes. So the Wi-Fi Explorer Pro, how I had my column set up, that's like a profile that you can use within Wi-Fi Explorer Pro. If you go to that link, all the discount codes will be there, the links to the different stuff, but also you can download the profile that I use for my Wi-Fi troubleshooting, because I've added some things in. You can download that, you can use that profile too. Thank you very much.